In this video, we go over the money management algorithm input rules. First, we want to take a look at the setup. We're taking a look at a VIX swing strategy on the left. This performance summary represents this strategy on the left. And so you see the MM1 save rev 0.0 indicator for revision 7 for this. And in this window on the right, if I click on it, the performance summary will update and the max drawdown will decrease. And so you see the decrease in maximum drawdown. And so this is just a test setup. And we're taking a look at rule 1. And we're going to go format strategy. And we'll see that we're looking at the MM1 equity curve algorithm rev 7.0. This is for the non-tick version. There's a separate algorithm for using tick charts, second and tick charts, non-1 minute, non-time interval charts. And so we go over this setup now in this video. We're going to take a look at the rules. And if I double click on the strategy, you will see the input rules. And so first of all, we have the symbol and interval inputs. You see those here. These two inputs must match the base strategy inputs on the left. The symbol as @ES and the interval is 60 minutes. Now on the right, you see we have the same symbol and interval. We don't have to have that in this chart. We can change this to whatever we want. If we wanted to trade an ES strategy on the TF, E-mini Russell, or the E-mini Dow, or bonds, or crude oil, or gold, we could trade any symbol we wanted based on the rules on the left. But in general, we're trying to improve our strategy. So in general, the symbol will typically be the same symbol. And the interval will typically be the same interval or lower. You can gain more accuracy in your testing if you go down to 1 minute charts. And so in this setup, we have the same symbol and same interval. And the main point to know about this is that these two inputs, symbol and interval, must match what is over here, or you will get an ADE DLL error. Next, the contracts input, CNTRCTS. That is the number of futures contracts traded, and so it's pretty straightforward. And then next we go over the entry techniques. There are 4 different entry techniques. You have limit entry is your first entry technique. Market entry is the next technique. Stop entry is the third, and pinpoint entry 2 is the fourth. And so only one of these can be or should be selected at any one time. And so if you use the limit entry, don't use market, stop, or pinpoint. Same with all the others. If you use market entry, don't use limit entry, stop points, or pinpoints. And the way you turn these on, these 4 inputs on, is either 1 or 0. 1 means they're on, and 0 means they're off. And the reason I made them 1s and 0s instead of true false is because you could hypothetically optimize them between 0 and 1. And so that allows us optimization if we want to on the entry techniques. And so for the limit entry, if you set the limit entry to 1, then the limit entry points is active and effective. You can use any positive number, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The larger this number is, the fewer trades you will have, because it's looking to get in on a limit entry at the close of the current bar minus limit entry points for longs and plus limit entry points for shorts. Market entry is either 1 or 0. You turn that off or on, and there are no points or additional inputs related to that. Now stop entry, once that is, this arrow should be here. Stop entry is set here. If you set this to 1, then make sure these others are 0. And now you have stop entry on. And then stop entry points is the number of points that you buy next bar at the close plus stop entry points for long, or sell short next bar at the close minus stop entry points for shorts. And so the larger number you have here, the fewer trades you will have, because the more the market has to move. You can obviously use 0 as well. Pinpoint entry points 2 also has, it should be this arrow right here. This is the rule to turn it off or on, the first one, and then the second one is the number of points. And pinpoint entry points is about getting in at a better price. And so if you turn this on, you want to make sure that it wants to make sure that you get in a better entry price than the original entry. And so it takes a look at the original entry price and gets in at a pinpoint entry point better than the original entry. So those are the entry techniques. Next, we will go over the rules. The rules are under this heading, rule 0 or 1. 0 means off, 1 means on. You could have true false here, but I designed it like this so we could optimize from 0 to 1 with a step of 1. And you can have any combination of the rules that you see here. For example, rule 1, moving average is 1, while the others are 0. So the only active money management algorithm rule that's effective right now is rule 1. And if you set rule 1 to true, then you will scroll down to the next section and you have parameters for rule 1, such as L1 and L2 for the dual period moving average. And so again, each of these rules is 0 or 1, and there's 8,192 combinations of rules. If you optimize from 0 to 1 with a step of 1 between rules 1 through 12, there are 8,192 possible combinations. So I have an optimization algorithm that will help you narrow your search, and I'll go over that later. So you set up which algorithm rule you want to use, and then you set the input for that algorithm rule or rules or combination of in the next section. So we scroll down to the next section and you see rules parameters. And in the previous section we talked about rule 1, and if rule 1 has a 1 next to it, then these two rules are effective. And then you see rule 2, rules are here, rule 3, rules are here, rule 4 rules, so on and so forth. These are not effective unless rule 2 were set to 1 in the previous section, rule 3 were set to 1 in the previous section, rule 4 set to 1 in the previous section. You could have all 4 of these set to true, and then you could experiment with the individual inputs on each of these as well. So there are 8,192 combinations of just rules, but there's even more when you consider all the possibilities of the individual inputs. So there are, again, a lot of optimization algorithm that helps you reduce the search for the best algorithm for your strategy. But that's how you set up the rule parameters, and there are 12 of them for each. I'm going to scroll down and take a look at each of those. And you can see each of the sets of rules. There is rule 13. We don't talk about that as much. It's more involved and involves trading multiple contract strategies, martingale strategies, and so it's related to consecutive losers. And so it is in the user guide though. So original system rules match, and that is the next section we're going to discuss. You see the max daily entries. You can set that to true. You don't have to match your original system. You can change this up a little bit. If your original system had 3 max daily entries and in the algorithm you only wanted 1, you could do that. Or you could just set this to false. Use max daily entries could be set to false, and max daily entries would not matter what number you put here if this were set to false. Use entry time. You want to set this false for swing trades strategies, for day trade strategies, or strategies that have intervals smaller than daily bars where you can reference the time, then and your rule actually uses those time frames, then you want to set this to true. And then once you set that to true, it's these 4 parameters here: the long start time, long finish time, short start time, short finish time. So if your strategy only had a start time and a finish time, you'd make the long and short settings the same. Use exit time. Again, you don't want to necessarily use that if you have a swing trade strategy or a strategy that holds trades overnight. But if you do have a day trade strategy or you do use the exit time, these 2 parameters are related. You set this to true, and you set up long exit time to the time that you will want to exit that strategy. In the next set of parameters, we go over the additional exits. Here you see the stop loss. If you set it to true, then the stop loss number is affected, and that's per contract. If you set this to false, then this number will not matter. It will not use this number. Same with profit target. If it's true, this will be the profit target amount. You can add a dollar trailing. If that's false, then dollar trailing is not effective. If it's true, this dollar trailing amount is effective. Break even stop. If it's true, then it's effective. If it's false, it's not effective. And if it's true, this is the amount that it will use. Sync exit with master. That means that it will update if the master strategy, the strategy over here on the left, exits for any reason or any rules that are not within this algorithm. On the very next bar, the money management algorithm will also exit. Those are the inputs and how you set up the money management algorithms.